this segment, you will be acquainted with current trends in reading instruction that lend themselves to the use of children's literature as materials resource. Since the mid-80s, there has been a pervading philosophy in the language art classroom that has gotten teachers of English very excited indeed. You see, for many years, teachers of English who are basically literature lovers had to use science-based materials in the teaching of the 4 macro skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing in their classes. Especially in the Philippines, where the bilingual policy has been enforced since the mid-70s, English as a subject had become a service course for science and math. Today, the pendulum swings back to the use of literature in the language classroom, thanks to the concept of whole language. The whole language perspective is the strong belief that children can learn any other communication skill as naturally as they learn oral language. Children learn a language by using it to communicate meaning or to search for it. Children learn language by being exposed to it, to other users of it in all natural contexts of communication. According to whole language theorists, reading can best be learned by using the so-called authentic texts. And texts are their most authentic in literature. Literature is authentic because it presents language in use in various contexts. After all, literature is the expression of life. Literature presents language in various tones and moods and registers as they are used in the universe of words. Thus, literature is back in business. In the early grades, particularly reading, readiness classes or beginning reading sessions must always start with a picture book as read by the teacher. By story reading, the children get used to the idea that a book is a source of pleasure and profit. Pleasure because it is a source of delight and wonder. Profit because it is a storehouse of discovery and information. Books always satisfy children's need to know. Older even than book reading is the art of telling a story. Our love for story is as old as time. The narrative is accepted as the primary act of the mind. We dream in narrative. We gossip in narrative. We share our experiences in narrative. Although narratives are familiar, teachers must be imaginative in storytelling sessions. She must use her voice well. She must use eye contact. She must use her body well in conveying meaning. There's a third way of using books for young learners. It is called book talk. Book talk assumes that the pupils had done some reading of books of their own choice outside the classroom. The idea is to share what the book is about and how each reader feels about the chosen book. Each child takes turns in talking about his or her chosen book. Book talk allows plenty of opportunities for the learner to use the language, using the book as context for search of meaning. It is assumed that when the language arts is literature-based, there must be plenty of books available for use. A school or a classroom teacher must provide a rich collection of books that young children will like. Here are a few features of a child-friendly book: action, dialogue, surprise, brevity, humor, imagery, cadence, happy endings, illustrations. Children want movement in books. They want things to happen in every page such that they spur the child to turn the page till the last one is reached. Frequent dialogues make the reader feel that the characters are indeed alive. They also contribute to the movement, and usually they are more readable than sentences tend to be shorter and spaces abound. Children love novelty and the unusual. They enjoy being kept guessing and being pleasantly surprised. Brevity is a good feature because children have short attention span. They are also not the most patient people in the world. What makes children laugh? Psychologists say that sense of humor is based on age, cultural background, education, and experience. Very young children enjoy slapstick humor. The more physical, the better. They like gross exaggerations and funny sounds. As they grow older, they enjoy puns, subtle incongruities, and complex figurative language. Children are fascinated by words and sounds. They react to whatever tickles their eardrums and excites their feet and hands. And they lived happily ever after. Children love happy endings. The good triumphs over evil, the boy gets the girl, and there are no loose ends. A child is less than satisfied when the ending is not clear-cut, or if a favorite character is not given due reward, or if a villain is not punished. Most of all, children love a lot of pictures. The world's most beloved illustrators for children are Maurice Sendak, Tommy DePaula, Audrey Woods, Dr. Seuss, and Arnold and Anita Lobel. There's Leo Leone, Brian Wildsmith, Tasha Tudor, and one who started it all, Randolph Caldecott. Filipinos are most proud of the one kababayan who is known all over the world, Jose Arguello and his menagerie of lovable creatures. Home-based and just as outstanding are Albert Gamos, Ibarra Crisostomo, and the rest of the members of the Ilustrador ng Kabataan, or INK, which is an organization of illustrators of children's books. What about older children? Basically, most of what the younger children favor are also liked by the older siblings. Perhaps the most marked difference between those for younger and for older children is the choice of themes. While younger children like the theme of journey and coming home, and also finding a place in a group or community, older children enjoy escape literature like romances, suspense stories, sci-fi, and gothic tales. Young people also like to read about other young people facing the uses of adversity or young handicapped people facing insurmountable obstacles. What is reassuring the adolescents know what escape literature is for. They can distinguish it from the more serious type, such as the adversity stories. Universal concerns also go big with adolescents. These concerns cover the four great themes in literature. 1. A person's relationship with himself or herself. 2. A person's relationship with other persons. 3. A person's relationship with nature and technology. And 4. A person's relationship with God. Examples of the first type would be The Ugly Duckling and I Am a Bunny, or Whose Mouse Are You, for very young learners. For older readers, there's Flowers for Algernon. As the second, There's Nobody Listens to Andrews and Jacob Have I Loved. The third would have all nature poems as well as Hiroshima for children and all the romances and simplified history that are available. The inspirational books like Ozymandinos, The Greatest Salesman in the World, as well as Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, and such cult books as The Little Prince and Jonathan Livingston Seagull all come under the fourth theme, which deals with what is intangible and infinite. Books for little children can also deal with the abstract and the less tangible through such books on friendship and beauty like Miss Rumphius, The Whale Song. I'm sure you now realize that some of your favorite books are among the greatest in children's literature. In the next segment, we shall have more on what children's literature can do for your language classes. But before that, let's pause first for a few reminders. Stay tuned.